Hello and welcome back to the Drop Back NFL show here on Britballin. I've seen Joe's looked away from his phone long enough to join us. Very nice of you, Joe. I'm Sam Lewis. And other than Joe, I'm joined by Stan Wilson and Matt Burns-Peak. How are you boys doing, fellas?
Good. Football's back, boys.
Fantastic.
It's finally come around.
I'm looking forward to another few months of sleep deprivation, but it'll be worth it.
In a fun way, though, right?
Exactly, yeah.
You're worth going to uni. You sleep in the day when lectures are happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
Especially if some of the lectures are going to be online as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Drop Back
does
not endorse people.
I think we do.
Student Stan.
I think if we're leading by example, we absolutely do.
The Drop Back basically happened because we didn't go to lectures. So
the biggest news in the NFL, apart from obviously season kicking off today, is that Tua Tagovailoa is not a captain, has been passed up ahead of a load of backups. What does this say about his future in Miami, Matt?
Shut the hell up. Don't even come at me with that rubbish. Man, since when do quarterbacks have to be captains? Huh? Exactly.
Every time they're any good. Trevor's a captain. Zach Wilson's a captain. They're just first years, Matt.
Wilson is the captain.
Yeah, but because those are two teams that have got absolutely no one else.
And you've got backups you thought was going to be cut.
I am going to say I did think it was very strange. Some of the names, not because Tua wasn't on that list, but because some of the names on that list, basically all of them apart from Landon Roberts, and McCourty, I had as probably going to get cut before the season kicked off. So for them to one, make the roster, and then two, basically be secured on that roster by the fact that they're team captains, that would basically indicate that they're not going anywhere. They're not going to be like jumping between practice squad and the 53. So yeah, it was pretty weird, to be honest. It was pretty strange.
I think it's been blown out of proportion a bit. It's not really a big deal, but it is just a bit weird more than anything else.
It's just loose. It's just loose shit from the Dolphins, as always.
Right. So other than that, which I'm sure is going to be a huge storyline because we're not going to hear the end of Tua. Every time we either vote a touchdown or pick, it's going to be, see, the Dolphins are going to be right to take Tua. Oh, they shouldn't have done it. Should have taken Justin Herbert instead.
It is a pointless conversation, really.
Welcome to
what other storylines are you looking forward to seeing this year?
Logan, you know what I'm looking forward to seeing is the one rookie wide receiver who's taken the top 2 rounds that hasn't had any hype revolving around him, really.
Elijah Moore?
Rondale Moore. No, I think there have been more Elijah Moore stories. Like, even guys like Diami Brown. There have all been storylines surrounding these guys taking the top 2 rounds. Hey, I'm not talking about the quality of the player. I'm talking about the fact that he's slipped relatively under the radar. And we all know that Rondale Moore is a weapon he's got a high floor, but also quite a low ceiling in the fact that he's a gadget guy, essentially. He didn't see much action down the field in college purely because his quarterbacks were quite poor. So the way he was utilized was jet sweeps and special design plays to get the ball in his hands. So it's whether Cliff can replicate that in Arizona or use him as he has done in like training camp and preseason as a normal wide receiver, a route running slot receiver who's very, very good at it. Like he's been toasting people.
Is he not somewhat buried on that depth chart a little bit? Like you do have quite a lot of receivers.
Weapons.
Yeah, we carry 6 receivers because of the nature of our scheme. But then you've also got to look at the fact he's playing slot, which is also played by Christian Kirk, who has been he's left a lot to be desired, to say the least, over his first few seasons.
Isabella as well, isn't he?
Isabella's not on the roster.
See you later.
I didn't realise he was gone.
Joe Buffett and missed that news. I mean, I do like that when we thought of this idea last week, put it in the chat, I had to specify to Matt, hey, let's not talk about our own teams because I was worried that him and Joe would do it. So you've caught me by surprise by your first storyline being about the Arizona Cardinals. But you know what?
To be fair, I don't talk about the Cardinals much. I don't talk about the Cardinals much, to be fair.
You talk about how more than the average fan should talk about the Arizona Cardinals.
But we can forgive you for that.
That's just you slandering the Cardinals at the end of the day, Slow.
He sees right through you.
All right, Matt, please tell me you haven't built something about the Miami Dolphins.
No, I've got a bit of a more general one, to be honest. And I think that is, again, sort of wide receiver aimed at more than other positions. But I'm quite looking forward to seeing, in general, rookies being given a platform to succeed after actually having a training camp, actually having a preseason. Obviously, last season with COVID and everything like that, it got cut short, and we saw a lot of rookies basically sort of thrown in at the deep end. And yeah, I mean, like some of the bigger name rookies, I don't think we really saw as much out of them as we were expecting. And I think a lot of that owes to the situation. The NFL is a tough gig when you're fully prepared. So to say that a lot of rookies last year had to go in completely basically unprepared in terms of with what semblance of a training camp they got. I'm looking forward this year to seeing rookies being in a position to succeed a bit more, and maybe seeing a bit more sort of, fireworks from more of the rookies this season. I mean, last season we still had some great sort of coming out parties with some of the rookies for sure, but I think we'll see in general more rookies succeeding this season.
Justin Herbert did it right, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like there was obviously Justin Herbert was great. Well. Jefferson was very good, but I think in general we'll see a higher level of play from rookies this season than we did last year. Correction, Isabella did make the roster.
Stan, is that you?
It was Keyshawn Johnson who got cut. I thought I'd be honest.
Oh, good lads. You know what?
Points
right.
For honesty, though. I was right. You're wrong about your
Well done, Joe.
You know what, Joe? Let's celebrate it with your storyline.
Wheelchair fam. My favourite storyline for 2021, it's a fun one, is Jameis Winston. I want to see Jameis Winston
Famous
at
Jameis.
the Saints be the starting QB. I think that's going to be really fun. I think we've not had that in with Sean Payton having a gunslinger like that before. So that'll be just really interesting to see. So he could either throw a bunch of touchdowns or a bunch of picks.
Or both.
Either way, it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah. I mean,
does he make the whole season as a starter?
I was just going to ask that. Yeah.
What? Sorry?
Is he a starter the full season, or does Sean Payton's love for Taysom Hill turn his head at some point?
I don't think Taysom Hill is a starting quarterback in the league.
No, but unfortunately, you're not the head coach of the New Orleans Saints.
Unfortunately,
depending on how you look at it, really.
There's also a reason that, Jameis is currently the starting QB of the Saints. That's because Sean Payton's got faith in him. And also, Drew Brees said directly to Jameis that this is his team now when he retired. Just Sam.
You are the captain now.
Look at you. But yeah, and with those brand new eyes, all those crazy off-season shenanigans. I mean,
yeah, he does have some of the weirdest.
When he played in the preseason, it was fun to watch. He was throwing tutties for days.
Nice. That's what we like to see.
How long until he needs to update his laser eye surgery though? Because that's not something that lasts for life. You do have to go back and get more laser eye surgery done eventually.
It's like 5 years.
So essentially, he's got like 4 years left.
This is his window.
Well, yeah, he could just do it again.
This is your Super Bowl window in New Orleans.
It's completely reliant on this QB's eyes.
Also, wasn't it just a color blindness thing rather than actually he couldn't see?
I'd say both is an issue, to be honest. I think I could see color blindness being a problem in the NFL.
I mean, unless you've got one team in pure white jersey and the other team in like a dark colored jersey, it's going to be quite difficult. So, for example, if a team like, I don't know, the Cardinals is playing against the Bengals in their home orange uniforms, it could get quite confusing. If all you're seeing is just one shade.
I thought the away team usually wears white.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just using a random example.
Helmets, though, Stan. You've got the example there on helmets.
There you go. Helmets, because the NFL are stupid. Because the NFL are stupid, and you can't.
That's changing though. They're gonna start allowing backup helmets, although every team's just going to keep the same color basically and just use an old design.
Yeah, don't hate him.
I mean, you never know. There could be a team that comes out with a completely different alternate helmet. Be pretty cool. Go full Oregon style on us.
Yeah.
Well, the Texans could just Nike own Oregon.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say the Texans could just cut to the chase and go 0-16 on their helmet and
17.
17 now, yeah, my bad.
Going to be the first team to lose 17 games in an NFL season.
That's true. Wow.
I mean, that sort of links to my storyline, which is that we're basically going to see every single NFL record broken this year because of that extra game.
It will feel a bit shallow, though, do you not think?
Which records?
Every single one's going to have an asterisk. Joe, you're being joined by someone in the room. Is that Jag?
No, it's Alex.
What does Alex think her favourite NFL storyline is going to be?
What's your favorite NFL storyline, Alex, for this season? Oh, she's actually.
Are you in the living room?
Yes, I am in the living room.
Do you not have a bedroom at your place?
The most
Alex,
professional
your
live
Facebook,
stream
by the way.
in sports history.
Alex, you're
She's
live
run
on about
off.
4 different social channels. So.
I knew that would get her. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry
and the
about
other.
that, fellas.
No, it's cool. I mean, it's an extra eye on the platform, isn't it?
She said Aaron Rodgers coming back in a big way.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good take,
it's
Alex.
a good shout from her, to be fair.
Yeah.
I thought hers would be about the fans, because I know how much she loves to get rowdy in the stands. So,
She is a
Does love to
rowdy
get
one.
rowdy in
to
the
be fair.
stands.
yeah. I mean, that's going to happen tonight. It's going to be first game in. They're all going to have NFL fans in. Woo!
I know. Are some
So
of
they
them
can
gonna
all
be
just
full
chant. They can all just
capacity?
chant defense.
Thank God. What a difference that will
Are
make.
any
That should
full
have been one of our
capacity?
storylines.
You know.
Most of them, and probably all of Florida.
Oh,
Mm.
Florida. Yeah.
for sure. Maybe probably Texas as well.
Yeehaw.
Fun fact: my coach won't allow the defense chant on our sideline when we're on the field.
Why does he hate defense?
He just hates the chant. He thinks it sounds stupid.
I mean, it does, but so they're loud. So they.
I think he sounds stupid.
I
But...
prefer just going
To be fair, that's probably better.
That does say a lot
It's
about
like
you as well, Joe.
constant
To be fair.
ground of it, you
Can we
know?
get that one more time,
just
Joe, for the
miscellaneous
soundbite?
shouting.
That was always fun.
Very cool. So let's have a look at some defenses that will have Joe going one more time this season. Who are your boys' favorite top 3 defenses?
Wait, this season, I thought, oh god,
You thought it was this week? Well,
Joe's
just
done his homework
extrapolate what
wrong.
you've got. You don't have
Joe's
to. He tried to do his homework. He just can't read.
That's right.
didn't make this clear in the instructions. Terrible host.
Why
Terrible.
would that be a category? Who are your favorite 3
Okay, it's
defenses
fine,
this
you're a
week?
terrible host. It's fine. Just build a bridge and get over it.
All right, so let's kick it off with not Joe. Stan, do you want to take it away? Some of your favorite defenses this year? Just pick one now.
I'm going to pick one, and I'm going to go for a very, very, very obvious one. I'm going to go for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Absolutely stacked unit. It's a stacked team. The linebacking core is loaded. TJ Watt, Devin Bush Jr., Joe Schobert, Alex Highsmith, and on the line in front you've got Cam Hayward, Tyson Alualu, and Chris Wormley. As a front
Do you mean
seven,
TJ Watt turns up?
he will turn up. He's a Steeler through and through. And if there's
Until
anyone
they refuse to
who would
pay him any
pay-
guaranteed money past
if
1
there is
year.
any player who they would break their no extensions during the season rule for, it would have to be TJ Watt. He's one of the best players in the league, if not the best defensive player currently. Maybe just a shade behind Aaron Donald. You've got to resign the guy, surely.
The biggest sticking point, apparently, is that the Steelers have a model that they refuse to fully guarantee anything other than the first year of a player's contract.
They need to change with the times, my friend.
Yeah,
Or
I can understand I could understand doing it if, when down the stretch they resign Najee Harris. I can understand doing something like that because running backs.
you hate running backs.
No, because notoriously running backs on their second contracts get injured quite quickly and then fall off a cliff.
It's because running backs are worthless to you.
That's
No,
why
their
he
knee-
hates Joe.
Their knees go. Yeah, that is why I hate Joe.
just
Try and
say it,
tackle
Greg.
me, boy. 1-on-1.
Let's do that. Let's do that this
I'm up for that.
season. That'll be
I'm
so
up for
good.
that.
Good content.
But Joe, you have to try and hurdle him.
Them's the rules.
I'm the last person you want
I'm
to
a
try and
no
hurdle.
All right, so Pittsburgh Steelers, didn't they lose both their starting? Oh no, they've got Joe Hayden. Didn't they lose the starting cornerback on the other side this year?
They're playing Cam Sutton. Was it Mike
Hilton?
Hughes?
Hilton was
Mike
like
Hilton.
nickel.
Mike Hilton. Hilton was the nickel. Hilton's gone now.
Yeah, he was nickel.
They traded for Akello Witherspoon, so I don't know if he's going to be playing in the slot role. So it's going to be Joe Hayden, Cam Sutton at corner, and then the safety duo of Terrell Edmonds and my bet for Defensive Player of the Year this season, Minka Fitzpatrick.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Was that a whoa? What are you owing at?
He's just a bit triggered that you said Minka Fitzpatrick.
Don't you dare say his name. No, I'd Minka Fitzpatrick is a sick player, to be fair. I don't know if I'd go as far as to put him in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year.
He was in the conversation last year, though.
Yeah, the conversation within his own household. Mum said it, but
I mean, TJ Watt was kind of above him in the conversation.
You also admitted it was a good shout when Stan said that on the show earlier in the week. Available from all major podcatchers whenever you get a chance to download.
Yeah, but then you think about it's just the Aaron Donald Award, isn't it? Really, or at least it should be, because he is not only the best defensive player in the NFL, he's also arguably the best player in the NFL. So I kind of find it difficult to put anyone else in a serious conversation for that award.
Yeah. So Matt, if we can have a best defense from you that isn't the Miami Dolphins, I would appreciate that.
Okay, fine. I mean, sticking on Aaron Donald, then let's go with the Rams. I mean, obviously, they've got a few high profile pieces. Donald, as I've just mentioned, they've still got Ramsey. We've seen how effective they can be at just being an absolute shutdown unit. I think they've got a very good front seven, and I think that their secondary as well, led by Jalen Ramsey, gives them a fantastic opportunity in pretty much every matchup, including the big boys when they come up against teams like the Bucs, when they come up against maybe later in the season Kansas and stuff like that. Like, I don't think the Rams have any reason to be scared of any offense in this league with the pieces they've got on defense.
What if either Ramsey or Donald go down?
Yeah, well, if that happens, they're fucked. But I mean, what happens if a meteor hits my house next week? Probably won't be on the podcast.
There are defenses in the league.
Or not.
True.
There are defenses in the league where it doesn't kind of rely solely on two star players. And I mean, this isn't to say Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey aren't two of the best of their position groups, because they are, obviously. But they're just two players. Like we saw when Aaron Donald went down, how it affected them in the playoffs last season. I think that would be an issue if something were to happen. Obviously,
to be fair, that's an issue.
They're going to take a step back this year.
That is an issue as well with the Rams, just in general. So they've got very little depth, and that's what happens when you trade away your top picks every single year. You get some superstars, but you have no backup, and the bottom half of your roster isn't as good. I mean, Stan, you're right. They are going to take a step back, though.
Maybe it's a plan. Maybe they've just got an incredible medical team that they're like, you can keep these players healthy no matter what. They're like, by the end of the season, they'll be like half robot with bionic limbs. They'll just given out to the stars.
I'm surprised no one's mentioned, or including myself, they slipped my mind briefly, but no one's mentioned the best defense in the NFL yet.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I was thinking Washington football team.
Washington football team are good.
They are so stacked. They are so stacked.
The defensive front is stacked. And
the defensive backfield's not.
The secondary's pretty good as well,
actually. They got Will Jackson, Landon Collins, and Kendall Fuller. It's stacked.
Yeah.
It's not. They're good, but it's not as on the same level as their front four is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
To be fair.
Their front four is going to be the best part of that defense. But I think, with Will Jackson added in and Kendall Fuller as well, and the season that Landon Collins had also, I think that they're going to do bits this season. They're going to do absolute bits.
Yeah. I think another good team that's sort of been forgotten a little bit is, I think, the Denver Broncos defense is going to be very good.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Actually looks really good as well.
Pat Surtain looks great. And the fact that they've got Ronald Darby and Kyle Fuller and Bryce Callahan at cornerback as well. Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons, one of the best safeties in the league there. And then that's before you mentioned they got Von Miller and Bradley Chubb as pass rushers.
Is Bradley Chubb injured at the moment?
No, he's that he is in a little bit of legal trouble, but he should probably be. It's one of the lesser legal troubles that NFL players get themselves in.
If there's a scale,
naughty.
There literally is a scale for crimes.
Parking fine.
Yeah, obviously, but I mean, in the context of the NFL. But yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the Buccaneers and how great they're going to be as well?
If you could have the same conversation we had last year, though. Like, they haven't changed.
Exactly. And literally. That's why they're going to be so good, because we saw how good they were at the end of last season. Completely shut down the Kansas City Chiefs, by the way, in the Super Bowl.
In case you weren't watching.
And managed to keep basically the exact same team going in with all that momentum going into a second year. I kind of favor them to,
be one of the best defenses as well.
Yeah, they're good.
Absolutely. And the thing is, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I also have them on my list of best offenses as well.
Well, that's a pretty good recipe.
Because
a team.
yeah, it's no wonder you're a good Super Bowl team if you've got a great offense and a great defense. But their O-line is great. I mean, they've got fantastic weapons. And then you got Timmy Brady back there slinging absolute. I forgot. I was reading something the other day, and you just forget he's 44 years old.
It's
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
stupidly old.
He's like 2 or 3 years older than the oldest NFL player, or 4 years
It's
or
an
something.
absolute joke.
No
It
red
is.
meat, mate. It's no red meat. That's
Joe, you said that if you cut out red meat, you could probably make the NFL by the time you're 40.
Not worth it.
4-6.
You could cut out red
you not-
meat,
would
you
you-
still
Matt,
wouldn't
would
make
you
London Warriors, mate.
More like 4-4, mate. Look at this.
Jesus.
Look at this. Easy 4-4.
I'm so glad we got a video show now.
Just capture the weird shit that Joe does. Oh, my God.
I mean, obviously, Kansas City are going to be in everyone's top 3 list for offense. I don't think we have to talk about it because it's
Nope.
Kansas City. Their weakness was that offensive line, so hopefully they'll be able to run the ball a bit better this year. But the third spot, who have you guys got in that
Cleveland.
spot? Oh, sorry.
Browns?
Stan, you've been undermined by Joe's wave, so I'm going to have to allow him to go first.
Can I be a little bit biased here?
No, fuck him. Fuck
Baltimore
him off.
Ravens
Mute,
as a top
Mute his
3
mic.
offense.
mute his
Yeah.
goddamn mic this second.
You're that crazy that I'm going to let you be biased to try and hear you
You know
out.
who we just signed?
Can I remove him from the
our
from the
practice
screen?
If this is an argument saying that because you got Lev Bell, you're now a top 3 offense, this is ridiculous.
He's not on your roster yet, bro. He's on the practice squad.
He's on the practice squad with the desire to play week 1.
Everyone's got the desire to
Got
play week
Monday
1. I
night
can
game.
point you
I've
out.
got the desire to
Game
play week
training.
1.
I think, right, Lamar looks amazing in what little we've seen out of him.
Yeah, not a bold take.
Okay.
Yeah. It's everything else you're going to say that's going to have an issue with.
Road to Rashad Bateman, fair enough, going to be out for a couple of weeks, realistically. J.K.
Up to
Dobbins,
6, doesn't it?
big
Isn't he at least 6 games?
Gus Edwards, however, proven animal, absolutely fine. And
I
now
think
we
he's
bring
proven to
Rondale
not be an
to
animal.
handle passing downs. That makes sense. That's all I'm saying.
It's just a running
Top
team.
3
though, Joe.
offense.
What
Top
do you mean?
3 offense.
It's not better than the Browns. You're not even better than the Browns.
When
can't
Rashad,
even get
when
out-
Rashad Bateman comes back, you know, I think our receiving core is significantly improved.
When he comes back, he hasn't played in the NFL yet, fella.
Preseason.
It's like last season. The Jags say, "Oh yeah, we've got a mid-tier offense because when we get Trevor Lawrence, it's gonna be amazing."
Outrageous.
So is that your top
They
3?
don't have
Then
an
Stan,
offensive
Trevor
line.
Lawrence and the Jags.
Oh no,
No, it's
Mine
going to
would
be
be-
Zach Wilson and the Jets.
no.
if you-
Mine would
I
be,
mean, if-
mine would be
I'll leave the
Browns, Chiefs, and Bucks.
Are you serious? And seriously, none of you going with the Titans?
Oh, Titans
In
are
that
my number
conversation.
3. Titans are my
Titans,
number 3.
Titans are locked in at my number 3, 100%. They've formulated the perfect balance between receiver and running back threat. Now they've got Julio, Brown, and Henry.
I don't know. I just maybe I've got a slight bias towards the Browns offense because I've been on the Browns offense train for a little while now as it's been growing, and it seems like
Yeah.
it's finally their year in terms of having everything they need to succeed in terms of the coaching as well. So I hope it works. But yeah, Ryan Tannehill is an MVP sleeper.
No.
No.
I don't think
The
Ryan
stats,
Tannehill
the stats,
wins
come
you
on.
as many
If
the
the
stats.
Titans are going to be good, then Derrick Henry wins the MVP before Ryan
Yeah.
Tannehill does.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry
Okay.
runs 2,000 yards. Easy, actually. They've got an extra game, so Derrick Henry's almost certainly going to run 2,000 yards.
Yeah, lock it in, chompers.
Lock it in,
The thing,
Sean.
those two teams are actually pretty similar. I mean, the Browns have a little bit of an edge, probably at O-line, and the
And
Titans
defense.
probably. We're talking about their best offenses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Barnacle in.
Yeah, I'm not denying that the Browns are a better team
They're
overall.
both some of the best offenses. I'm really interested to see what Julio does at the Titans, though.
Please stay healthy, for God's sake.
My issue with the Titans is that 2 starting tight ends right now are Jeff Swaim and Anthony Fursker.
Doesn't matter.
Okay,
But yeah.
Chris, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I mean,
Move on.
then neither of them are John O. Smith. Is more my point.
Yeah, that is very true.
That's fine. You don't just replace a guy like Johnny Smith. You just I mean, they got a guy like Julio Jones, so just
that is true. Julio Jones
just throw the ball to him
notoriously
instead.
good at football.
Just have formations with more receivers on then. If
So,
that's really an issue.
Joe, are you really, really going to stick with the Ravens being the number 3 offensive football?
I'm interested. Nobody said the Buffalo Bills, to be honest.
We had this conversation the other day. The O-line isn't a top-tier one, and they've got no running game.
Pretty good.
It's not
good.
bad. It's not bad.
It's good. It's not quite Carling.
There you go. Sponsor us.
Don't say that because Carling's actually terrible.
Yeah, Carling is genuine.
Oh, well, now they're not going to sponsor us. Thanks.
Yeah,
Joe.
don't sponsor us,
Sorry,
Carling.
we were waiting on that
Terrible
sponsorship.
waste of time.
Joe, it was this close to going through as well. You've just blown it.
Joe, what beer sponsorship would you have us have?
Heineken, obviously.
Weird.
That's
Wait,
weird.
what? Explain.
I'd happily take Guinness sponsorship. That'd be cool.
Why Heineken?
I like Heineken. It's just like a nice.
To be fair, I don't know what else we were expecting from that. To be honest.
I mean, what?
We're
Yeah,
expecting
I'm
like a
surprised
full
New
flavour
Edgy
profile.
Shoreditch Joe didn't go with
ramen,
Brewdog.
maybe.
Yeah, I was expecting a Brewdog in there.
Brewdog sucks. No offense.
No, it doesn't. Punk IPA is
Cool
class
company,
though.
cool company.
It's a good drink, but Joe is right.
Wow.
However, yeah, Buffalo, not just for what we saw
Josh Allen
last year, Josh Allen's progression.
If you're going Buffalo, you're basically making an argument that Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs have a partnership that's better than literally anyone else in the NFL because that's what that offense is.
Yeah.
And then you may as well go to the Packers because they've also got a run game.
Yeah, that's very true.
And a better O-line.
Yeah, I'd say I'd probably put Packers at 2.
And probably a better receiver.
Packers at 2?
Potentially. I mean, no, I can't because of the Bucks. I keep forgetting about the Bucks.
It could go Kansas
But apparently
City.
Joe thinks that the Ravens are better than all of these.
No. Okay, so without trolling, it goes Kansas City, then I think it goes
The Bucks.
no.
Come on, Joe. Can we get Joe's friend on the podcast instead of him? Because she's probably more reasonable.
She's not.
Oh, she's not. Okay.
What, you think Kansas City isn't the top?
No,
no one's arguing with that.
To say the word Bucks.
Just say it. Keep us happy, Joe.
I think the Bucks are probably the third best. No.
Okay, fine. If you want to put them a third, that's fine.
No, I think actually Bucks are potentially 1, Kansas City 2, and then.
Who are you putting at 3, Jade?
Oh yeah, the Bucks are the top 3 offense. You know what? They might be the best in the NFL.
It might be. Well, I didn't say the Bucks aren't the top offense.
You just did. You were just saying that. All right, you know what? We're moving on from Joe.
You were struggling to get it out.
We're going Kansas City and Bucks 1 and 2, whichever order we want to put them in. That includes Joe there.
Yeah.
And then third, you got your pick, don't you? Really, out of Titans,
Bay.
Browns, Green Bay. I think the Seahawks are probably going to be good this year, but they're probably a little bit below them.
Seahawks ain't bad. I'm going to go Titans. I'm going to lock in Titans.
I would go with Titans.
Green Bay, I think.
All right. Well, Green Bay. So not the Baltimore Ravens. Joe thinks the Baltimore Ravens are better than all of those 4 that we just mentioned.
Well, obviously,
they're in the next tier up.
I mean, I put the Rams over the Ravens right now.
Stand to lose his ball.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. She's making the whole thing work.
Not again.
Okay, let's go ahead. Actually talk about some football because it's happening.
Let's talk football.
It's been what? 7 months since we've talked about an actual football game rather than just sort of abstract talk. Yeah, well, I mean, just after the first week of February, 7 months ago.
Christ.
Dallas Cowboys,
7 months.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers are 8.5-point favorites because I put that in there because I assume we're all going to go Bucks with the win. So just a little bit of conversation going later. That's tonight, 1:20 a.m. I assume we're all staying up to watch that. Joe is.
Oh yeah.
Joe, people can see you. I mean, not many of them, but they can. Go get your water. We'll tread water until you do. It's fine.
Nice.
Didn't mean that. You found it? It was next to you. Are you taking the piss?
No, it was tucked behind the curtain, but next.
Hey, we have.
Can I put up that ticker again?
Yeah.
Get it back up. Joe finds water. I'd like to hear what you guys think about this, but I think this is going to be a sneaky high scorer tonight.
I agree.
I'm up for that. Yeah.
I think we could be seeing.
Wait a minute. How did none of us mention the Cowboys as one of the top 3 offenses?
Yeah, that's
because they're not.
From us.
They're not.
They're top 5. They're not top 3.
Cowboys.
Ooh. If this side was top 5, then it would be more spicy.
Anyway, go on, Matt.
Because look, Cowboys defense. Yeah, it was tough to watch last season, and I think we've spoken about previously as well. They haven't really done a huge amount to be able to make it better so far this offseason. So you come up against the Bucs offense, who we've just said is a top 3 offense in the league. There's going to be points, but the flip side is that, as we just mentioned, the Dallas offense is electric, especially now that they've got Prescott back, who was amazing last season before going down. I know obviously it's going to be a sterner test for them coming up against that Bucs defense, but I don't know. I think, first game of the season, everyone's going to be maybe a little bit rusty, maybe a little bit loose in terms of, getting to grips with what they're doing, play calling wise, getting back into the swing of things. I think that we could be in, hopefully for, a 35-30 game, something in that region, I'd say would be, what a way to open the season, and also, not outside the realms of possibility for these two offenses.
Absolutely. I mean, the one issue would have the Cowboys offense is that their best player, Zach Martin, is out with COVID. So you just go,
tough.
I don't know if Zach
light up
Martin's
Vita
the best
Vea
player anymore.
You don't know if Zach Martin's the best player?
No.
I mean, about 3 Cowboys this week, and including Jerry Jones, all said he's their best player.
Yeah, well, you kind of do when these things happen.
In terms of being most valuable on the football field, though, it's going to be Dak Prescott. So,
yeah, but pure best player, I would say Zach Martin is up there.
Right.
Yeah.
I do agree with you, Matt, that this will be high scoring, but not necessarily close. I do think that the Cowboys are going to be able to score over 21, 20, maybe 28 points in this game, but the Bucs should really just steamroll through that Cowboys defense. If they can find anything close to the rhythm that they found themselves into down the stretch after their bye week last season, they should absolutely steamroll. I'm talking 40 plus points.
So are you predicting, are we having a garbage time point haul prediction here?
I'm not saying necessarily garbage time. I think the Bucs will be able to run up the score themselves, whilst just staying in rhythm. But I'm saying the Cowboys, maybe they will be able, they might struggle early on, but they will score at least 28 points. I'm predicting, just because of the high power that offense possesses in terms of its skill positions.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. And to be honest, I think that the Bucs did a good job sort of protecting their corners in that game against the Chiefs. They're not going to be able to get the same consistent pressure, especially off the edge against this Cowboys O-line, even without Zach Martin, is a better line than what the Chiefs had in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I think the Cowboys receivers matching up against the corners of the Chiefs is a favorable matchup to the Cowboys. So I think it's going to be, if I was betting, I would go under that spread. I think the Cowboys would probably cover it. It'll be about a touchdown difference.
No, I think the Bucs are going
I'm still going over.
Score significantly more than the Cowboys, to be honest. Just look at the Cowboys secondary compared to the Bucs secondary. It's not even.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not going to be able to keep it that close.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about the Cowboys secondary, I do think that they won't be as bad as they were last year. I don't think. I mean, even just as simply as Trevon Diggs having another year under his belt. Speaking about people being thrown in the deep end, he was absolutely thrown in the deep end last season at a position where that's notoriously difficult to adjust to in the NFL. So I think he's going to be a lot better. I think that unit in general, will be. I don't think it's going to be good, but I don't think it's going to be the glaring, chasm that it was last season for them. Could be wrong.
They got rid of their defensive coordinator as well, didn't they? It was Dan Quinn, which means they go to that old Seattle one, and Dan Quinn defense was amazing in Atlanta last year.
Yeah.
Just flipping back over to the defensive side of the ball for Kansas City and the Cowboys offense, I wouldn't be surprised if CeeDee Lamb popped off and had a massive game out the slot. A big miss.
CeeDee Lamb's really good.
Is Tyrann Mathieu. I'm not sure if he was back in practice yesterday, but he was out with COVID-19.
Tyrann Mathieu.
Tyrann Mathieu had COVID-19.
Yeah, but they're playing the Buccaneers.
Oh, so what am I on about? Sorry, I was thinking Super Bowl there.
You said CD Lamb. Are you all right?
I'm don't know. I'm having a shocker. Sorry, apologies.
It's a hot day.
It is a hot day. All right. Either way, CD Lamb won to watch this season. He's got a quarterback who can throw the ball properly. Yeah, it has been a very hot day today. I've had a bit of a last season Joe Costanzo.
Wow.
Cool out. Yeah, I'm excited to see CD Lamb.
CD Lamb is I don't even know if he's a sleeper because he was like.
He was quietly good last season as well, right?
He was quietly good, but what I'm saying is he's going to
he's receiver for the Cowboys last season, even with
I don't know. I think Amari Cooper did have an absolutely outstanding season.
I mean, talented. Like his ceiling. Like I watched him thinking, like, oh, he could be really good in like a few years.
Right. Yeah. No, I can understand. I could see that. Can completely see that happening, especially this year with Dak Prescott back and a healthier line.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to see more targets, more touches of the football, and yeah. I do expect a big year from him.
I wonder if they'll move him around a little bit more rather than just keep him in the slot like they did last year.
It would be nice to see him move around, even if it was just pre-snap motions to help him get off the line and get himself in space, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, might have been because who was their tight end? Not Dalton Schultz.
Blake Jarwin.
The one that played. Blake Jarwin missed. Did he get injured week 1 or was it just before week 1? But he missed the entire season. So they basically had CD Lamb running tight end routes, just seams up the middle. I mean, he was getting open as hell. but yeah, I think he's going to be, you're right, he's going to be a baller.
Yeah, 100%.
But everyone has the Bucs winning this game, right?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, I wouldn't say easily. I'd stop it easily. I think it'll be closer than people think. But I think it'll be a stonker of an opening game, points-wise.
It's going to one that's actually going to keep you up.
Yeah.
No falling asleep at half-time because there's going to be lots of tunnies.
Yeah.
On the topic of opening games and the whole schedule, I do feel like the NFL has somewhat rigged this schedule to produce the matchups we all want, and I'm not complaining at all. I think they've done a great job of it. Like every single matchup we want to see is happening.
Like they've started to do that more. For sure.
I'm a big fan of it though because it's within everyone's best interest. It's within our best interest as fans and like viewers of the game because we get to see everything we want to see. And then in terms of like the NFL as well, they're going to get better viewing numbers. So it works well for everyone. I'm loving it.
Absolutely. Is this another matchup you're keen to see? Cleveland Browns heading to the Kansas City Chiefs. Just realized I've missed the words Kansas City off the banner there, but you know who the Chiefs are.
You know
that's lazy.
The Chiefs are.
I don't think it's lazy. I think it's just negligence.
That would be a sick game, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a game we should be seeing in the playoffs, right?
You'd think, yeah, with the talent levels on both rosters. But it doesn't always pan out.
Cleveland Browns and sneaking the wild card.
I mean, we did see this in the playoffs, didn't we?
We did, but it was without Jedrick Wills and Pat Mahomes from the second half.
Yeah.
Not from the second
Anything
half.
Anything was possible.
I thought it was like the fourth quarter when he came out.
Do you hate it?
I don't hate it. I think it's just overdone. It was overdone. Like one person did it, and it was like, hey, that's funny, and then everyone did it.
Yeah, I did it on our social media page.
Oh, I love that post. Our social media is great. Check it out. The drop back on everything.
It does loads of those cool.
You know what? While I'm at it, I'm going to go and follow it too, Slew.
Do you not follow us?
That was horrible to watch. My God. Yeah.
Haters will say it's scripted.
Circling back to this game, I think this is a really interesting one. This is kind of one that I'd prefer to see. Maybe not week 1, maybe when both these teams, especially on the offensive side, have like gotten into their rhythm a little bit and have got a few games under their belt. I think it would be a real firecracker of a matchup. I do wonder if the Chiefs could be a little bit there for the taking, though, in terms of with the improvements that the Browns have made this offseason.
What about the improvements that the Chiefs made with the offensive line?
Yeah, that is true. I think this could be a real close one, to be honest.
It's a tough test for that Chiefs offensive line that hasn't really played no snaps together, because that's a strong defensive line, especially with Garrett and Clowney on either end.
Exactly.
Especially for the rookies you've got on the interior for the Chiefs as well, with Creed Humphrey and Trey
Smith.
Trey Smith, there you go, Tennessee guard.
Yeah. So if we talk about that matchup of the Chiefs offense versus the Browns defense, what I'm curious to do if like the Browns just throw Owusu Koromoa just straight in the deep end and just be like, right, whenever Travis Kelce's isolated on that one side, you've got him one-on-one.
Yeah.
Really?
Because that's one of the things he's
Travis
great
Kelce
at.
against little JOK.
I love it, Slew. I love it.
Well, that's one of the things that the Chiefs do, isn't it? They go in that 3-by-1 with Kelce on the one.
That's why you drafted him. Just let him do that kind of stuff, I think, personally.
Because I'm not sure who else is on that roster that's going to cover a tight end. I mean, who's their strong safety? Ronnie Harrison? I don't think he's even that much bigger than JOK.
JOK was covering slot receivers to tight ends to anything that was just in that middle.
Yeah, but there's doing it when you're playing at Notre Dame and you play a few good tight ends as slot receivers. Then there's doing it against arguably the best receiving tight end in football.
Exactly.
I say fuck it, to be honest. Just do it.
This is why you lost your job as DC, Joe. Go for it.
Yeah, he was DC at Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah. That would be a sick matchup, though. Could you imagine if they do? Like, if they do just be like, right, Kelce is your man. Lock him down.
Either that or just like big hits and stuff. That'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, if he gets on the field. Because didn't you say he was buried on the depth chart at the moment? Surely by the time game time comes around, he's starting.
I mean, this was just off the intel I had from my sources, but they could be.
Is your source Our Lads the website?
Was it Google?
Our Lads is
Insider
quite
Stan
reliable.
Wilson.
It sounds more professional if I say sources.
Yeah.
No need to out me.
Yeah. I mean, also, we talked about the Chiefs' new look O-line, Browns' new look secondary. Pretty tough test for them first game.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting. We spoke about a little bit about Sammy Watkins not being part of that offense anymore for Kansas and what sort of impact that will have. I mean, personally, I don't think that will have too much of an impact. I think we'll see a lot more Mecole Hardman and in packages where he's set up really well to succeed and use that pace a bit more.
I don't know so much about Mecole Hardman, to be honest.
We've sort of yet to see it consistently, haven't we?
Kind of like he's had a few games where he's caught a few bombs and been good, but like outside of that, I don't know. They've struggled to really do a lot with him, with like everything he could potentially do. Like
we may see like a bigger year out of DeMarcus Robinson as sort of the underneath guy because that's what they use Watkins for. That Hill and Hardman ran him off, and then Watkins usually ran it, like a dig or an under or something like that.
I'm also interested to see if we see Clyde Edwards-Helaire get going again. I mean, last season he started the season really, really strongly.
A huge opener night, didn't they, against the Texans?
Yeah. And it was sort of like, okay, wow, like good pick. And it massively sort of tailed off, didn't it? So I wonder if he's had another off season to grow into that offense a bit more. And just thinking about that matchup with the secondary. Maybe they're going to throw a lot of man-to-man stuff. Maybe that opens up a lot of plays for a pass-catching running back like Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
It's hard to play man-to-man against the Chiefs for a lot because you got to have someone match up with Hill, and no one can do that all night.
We saw what happened last time a team tried to man up Hill,
and then Tampa Bay, and then they decided to do zone, and then it's like, this works better.
Let's stick with it.
Yeah, that's true.
The Bucs did a pretty good job by putting effectively just a safety on him at all times with the corner, right?
I mean, you'd anticipate they'd try and bracket him a lot. It seems to be that's the sort of formula that teams are moving more towards when it comes to when a team has an out and out stud wide receiver,
especially with the speed that he possesses.
Yeah, exactly. And like if you bracket him, it makes it a lot more easy. But I think in doing that, you're going to inadvertently open up so much space for the other weapons, which is why I think we could see someone like Mecole Hardman or Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well having a big night because you simply can't. You can't stick with that many people when you're having to put two people on Hill. Otherwise, he's going to kill you every snap.
Yeah,
Mm.
100%. I mean, it's been what success has looked like for them for the last 2 years, basically 3 years. On the other side of the ball, the Browns offense lining up the Chiefs defense, we saw that you can run on this Chiefs team in the Super Bowl. Yeah. And if there's one team that's not bad at running the football, it's going to be the Cleveland Browns this year.
Not bad.
Are they going to be able to keep like the clock churning long enough to not let the Chiefs get that big scoring gains?
That's going to be the key, really.
It is, because the Chiefs did add Nick Bolton during the offseason. They've got a new middle linebacker who is a bona fide solid run stopper. He's not going to offer you much more, as we've said in the past, but in terms of being a reliable run stopping guy with great instincts, I think he's going to be the best that they can get at the moment. I'm looking forward to seeing how he fits into the NFL, because obviously we saw the success he had against Najee Harris in the Bama offense. So, hey, this is just a big step up.
Stopped him on the goal line like twice, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
And Stan, do you want to say your little Tyrann Mathieu bit now?
Oh, my little Tyrann Mathieu bit. Well, some of you may not know, but Tyrann Mathieu's been on the COVID list, and I'm yet to find out from my sources whether he's returned to practice or not.
I swear to God, if your sources is Ian Rappaport on Twitter.
No, I just knew he'd be on the COVID list, and he could have returned to practice yesterday, but I'm not sure if he did or not.
Still, I think you'd be cutting it quite fine for him being able to play this weekend, if I'm not massively mistaken.
He'd obviously test negative.
Yeah, they're taking quite precautions there.
That means he's double vaxxed and has been in close contact, doesn't it? If he's on the COVID list but not ruled out.
I believe.
I mean, it must do at this point, because then you need 2 negative tests on 2 different days. Well, I mean, that's another storyline to bloody watch this year, isn't it? People try and get to grips with what the COVID tests mean.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, hopefully people they'll be able
Cam
to get.
Newton on a team yet?
Cam Newton is not on a team. He's not done with football.
Do you reckon any of
per
that
Cam Newton
is kind of,
Say that again, Joe?
Do you reckon any of this COVID test nonsense that happened before he got kind of cut is like putting teams off or what?
No, I think it's because people aren't really sure what Cam Newton is right now. I think if they worked him out and they saw either way, they'd be more likely to pick him in.
Yeah. I could see him going to the Broncos maybe if Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock's fuck up, but
yeah, that's cool. Someone really smart must have put that in the group chat.
Did they? I should
know. We've got no one really smart in the group chat. Don't be silly.
That's bad group chat. The Rise group chat's great.
Yeah, because there's 2 of them that actually know what they're talking about.
Alex and Dan know what they're talking about. Yeah.
Odell Beckham, does he bounce back against the Chiefs secondary? Maybe sans Tyrann Mathieu.
Ooh. Yes.
Big comeback play.
I'm going to say yes. I think OBJ is going to, it would just be so on him. Like, the amount of, I feel like the last couple of years, people have really sort of gone in on OBJ about, even to the extent where people are questioning whether he's, a number 1 receiver in the NFL. And it's he definitely is. He's Odell Beckham Jr.
Twitter does have a way of getting ahead of itself, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, ridiculously.
A couple of guys said this guy isn't good. Oh, we must all hate him.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think not just in this game, but on the season, I think OBJ is going to be a big year for him. But I think in this game, I think he's set up to succeed. Again, the Browns have got a few different weapons in that offense. They could even go 2 running back look with Hunt and Chubb, and then really test the defense assignment wise there. You've got other receivers. Landry's one of the best in the league in terms of doing the underneath stuff.
It's best in the league at what he does.
Best in the league what he does. Stan mentioned Donovan's Peoples-Jones, his boy, as well. Looks exciting. So again, it's the same sort of thing. You've got a good level of talent across the whole offense that you can use in loads of different ways. So I think OBJ should, hopefully, if he can stay healthy and he can sort of build on that relationship with Mayfield, there's a lot of potential there.
Does anyone have the Browns winning this game?
Fuck no.
No.
I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Can they cover the spread?
Yes.
Will they?
Yes.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm not asking you to predict the bloody future, Stan. What do you think?
Chiefs going to win by a field goal.
Chiefs by a field goal.
I think it will be. I'm with you with that one, Joe. I think
close.
It will be something along that level of closeness.
It really wouldn't surprise me though if the Browns do come away with this one. Like I've picked the Chiefs to win on our pick'ems, but which will be returning this Sunday at 6 p.m. if Joe Costanza gets his sheet in on time.
I've already sent my pick'ems. You said send them in as a text, so I sent my list.
Okay, fair play. I'll fill out your spreadsheet.
I haven't done mine, so you should definitely have a go at me.
Yeah, I've only done tonight's game, and then I'll think about the rest when we get to it.
With a clear head.
Clear head, full eyes.
Nice.
All right, so final game, the other 9:25 kickoff, and we put this in there.
Yay!
The Miami Dolphins versus New England Patriots, and the only one without any stake in this game, Joe Costanzo. Do you want to kick us off?
I'm well interested in this one. You know what?
Good.
Because it's a football game and we haven't seen it for 7 months.
Battle of the Alabama
No.
Mac Jones and Tua. You know, we all saw Matt riling about how great Tua's records were at Alabama, and then we saw Mac Jones come and break them the next year with all the same pieces on offense.
Actually, 2 less receivers.
2 less receivers, in fact. So, yeah, I want to see what they're like against each other. I want to also see, you know, as Tua made the leap of faith yet in his receivers. I mean, he looked okay in the preseason against Atlanta's second-string defense, but, you know.
Leaves a lot to be desired, that.
Yeah, I'm well excited for this one. I don't know about you guys. And they're both good defenses as well.
They are. If we're sticking on Tua and the offense now, I mean, they've got a good skill position set now. I mean, Myles Gaskin, right, we said good for 4 yards of carry, every carry forever. No more, no less.
3.5.
You'd hope with an offense that is more designed for Tua. Wait, have they got... Is it Miami that have got like co-offensive coordinators, Matt?
Yeah, we do.
I mean, that's never going to not work, right? But that O-line has got to be worrisome, right?
Yeah, I'm very worried about it. To be honest, I think I was really hoping. Well, interesting. I was really hoping this offseason. I felt really good after the draft about what we'd done and the pieces that we brought in free agency and stuff like that. The only sort of thing for me was like, can we use this offseason to get the O-line settled? And it's just not happened. Is the long and short of it. Like, it's been a revolving door throughout training camp and preseason in terms of who's listed as starters, who's getting reps, who's impressing, who's not. To the point where I can't tell you now who's going to be who I think the starting O-line will be for Sunday, because it's just been changing that frequently, which is a worry because you know what Bill Belichick can do defensively with not much talent, and I think this Patriots defense has talent, so. I am concerned about that. Stephon Gilmore being out is a help from a Dolphins point of view because he's obviously, one of the elite, one of the top corners in the league, especially in man. But ultimately, but Miami's going to need it.
That cuts out a lot of what New England like to do, is that put Gilmore on the number 2 receiver and bracket the number 1 with their number 2 guy. So it'll be interesting to see how they adapt. Because is he out? He's out for 6 games as well, at least, because he's
out for a little bit. He is out for a little bit, which is interesting. It's an interesting position for the Patriots to be in as well. There was a lot of rumors about would he be traded, and trying to move him for value before his contract's up. So that puts them in a bit of a sticky position there. But in terms of this game, I think the only thing that I think Miami will win. I'm concerned about how the offense will do, but I'm confident that on a matchup-to-matchup basis, I think our defense is a lot better than their offense. And I think their defenses and our offense are more sort of level in terms of the talent that they've got, would be my thing. I have got no faith whatsoever in that Patriots offense. I think Mac Jones will be a good quarterback in the league. I don't think he'll be a great top 3, top 5 quarterback, but he doesn't need it. But I just think the absolute devoidness of skill position players that they have in New England is too much to overcome for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, you've touched on it there. It's the outside receivers that are the real issue on this Patriots offense, isn't it? Especially in a matchup when you've got Xavier Howard's Byron Jones, who should be able to blanket them basically all day. will be interesting because what Miami do on defense, especially on third downs, where they're like, is it their amoeba front? You guys call it when they're all like dancing around, like
who's good
for a rookie game in his first NFL start, not what you want to be seeing.
Yeah, that's a lot to take in.
There's a lot to adjust to, and you worry that's going to lead to some picks if he's like trying to throw hot and is that he's not actually blitzing, he's just standing there waiting for the ball.
Yeah,
I bet Bill Belichick's been drilling him on that all off season though, purely because of the fact he's going to see it twice a year.
Yeah, probably, but there's drilling it, and then there's the first time you face it.
Yeah,
let's say Sam Darnold was probably drilling to play the Patriots defense, and he was still seeing ghosts on the sideline.
He was still throwing the ball to the other team, so like, there's not much you can do. And I mean, and not trying to come at it from a biased point of view, but I do think purely because of those reasons that you said, Sloop, like with the way that we run our defense, especially on third down, for a rookie quarterback, I think that's one of the toughest defenses to come up against first time round. Not necessarily because it's super star powered or anything like that, but just because it's complicated to read. So yeah,
I do like that your corners allow you to do that and just get crazy with it because you can trust them one-on-one against most guys.
Exactly.
Joe, we're aware that your dinner is getting cold and that is something that you cannot miss. So you'll let us know your thoughts on this game.
I mean, I already said I'm really excited to see what the QBs do. I do think that Mac Jones, you shouldn't take Mac Jones for granted because he's shown from what we've seen out of him so far that he can adapt pretty well to the game. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be closer than you think. In terms of, I think the Patriots are going to score a bit more than you think, but I still think the Dolphins are going to win ultimately.
I mean, I'm expecting it to be a pretty close, gritty sort of game.
Yeah. So I'm under no illusions that this is going to be an easy test for the Dolphins. I think it will be very close.
Yeah, it strikes me the type of game. Like usually, the saying is whichever team has the ball last will win. But I think it'll be the opposite because these defenses don't look like they're going to let someone march down the field and get a game-winning drive on them.
No, too stout.
Doesn't seem that way.
So Stan, what are your feelings on this one? Who's going to come out on top?
I'm going Patriots all the way. I think this is going to be a Bill Belichick masterclass defensively, and the offense I think is just going to turn heads in the fact that it's going to be different from what we've seen the Patriots run in years previous. It's going to be a lot of heavy fronts, 12 personnel with Hunter Henry and Johnny Smith. I think Damian Harris could potentially have a massive game on the ground here. Jacoby Myers is another guy you want to watch out for, but this O-line is phenomenal, and they're going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball a lot.
You touched on it there as well, that they've actually got two great tight ends now, and we know how much Belichick likes them, and the fact that he's able to go 7-9 by playing, I can't remember, but it sounds like acai, but I know tight end. I was it in Lacroix or something like that, like a French
Matt Lacoste.
Lacrosse, yeah.
Lacoste.
Yeah. Not big
able
names.
to win seven wins with that, and the fact they didn't have Donta Hightower, that's pretty impressive. So Matt Jones, if he's what he's hyped to be, which is at the very least a solid quarterback, they should be excited to see. They're
going to beat the Dolphins.
I think the Patriots will probably win. If it was in Miami, I'd take Miami. I think that's a separator in this game.
Okay.
I think they're very tightly matched.
I think Miami have better talent.
Also, Joe, what we didn't hear from you, because you weren't here on the earlier podcast, can we have your top 7 teams from each conference? Because I'm sure you've prepped.
He's got 1 minute.
You got 1 minute. Top 7 teams in each conference, 1 to 7 seeds.
No, I'm good, thanks.
All right, well, tune into our podcast next week when Joe will definitely have that ready for. In fact, he's going to post that on our socials before Sunday's NFL games because he can't use week 1 as a guide. All of those socials available at the Dropback, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure to download our podcast and this live stream from all major podcatchers. Thanks to Britballin for giving us this platform. We'll be doing it every week now. It's great. The season's here and we cannot wait. You know what as well? We got a website back because we're a little bit of an issue, but thanks to the hard work of Matt Burns-Peak and a social post from Stan Wilson. Website, thedropback.com. We've got articles, game picks, and all of our podcasts available from there as well. So that's the end of today's show. Thanks to Stan, Matt, and Joe for joining me. I've been Sam Lewis. Until next time,